Today I would like to share with you our homeschool update for May and June of 2025. Hi everyone, welcome to our homeschool table. My name is Jerilyn. I am a homeschool mom of 3 kids, and here on my channel I like to share all about homeschool mom life related topics like curriculum, reviews, planning, organization, and everything in between. So go ahead and click that subscribe button down below and stick around. So I'm going to divide this video into 2 different parts because this month being May, June, we finished quite a few things. So I'm going to share with you first what we finished, and then second what we're still working on for June and July mostly. So I'm going to start with science. We've been doing Zoology 2 from Apologia and really liking it. We especially love the audiobook feature that the program has, and we are continuing on with that for next year. So my daughter did finish. There are 14 lessons, and they spread it out over 28 weeks of work. So she finished that about 2 weeks ago, and she is very excited. She really liked all of the lessons and never really complained about science once this year. So I take that as a big win. And so we finished that up. The next thing that we finished was her Christian Liberty Press nature reader. We were on book 4 this year, and she was really glad to be done, mainly because the whole end of the book, I think it was probably the last 2 months, was all about snakes, and she doesn't really love snakes, and so she was glad when she finished that book. We have finished typing for this school year. We are using The Good and the Beautiful Typing 1. It has 80 lessons total, and she got to lesson 59 or 60, I think, one of those two. And I don't mind if she keeps going on with it through the summer, but it's not something that I'm going to be scheduling in her weekly checklist or anything. So as far as I'm concerned, we're done with it. And if she wants to pull it out a little bit here and there this summer, she can do that. The next thing that is very similar is character study. We are using Kids of Character from Character Concepts. And my daughter, she doesn't really have anything good or bad to say about it. She just does it, and I don't get any complaints about it, which is really nice. But she's not finished. I think she's about halfway through that program. She just does 1 character quality a week, and there were 40 in the book, so that's why we're not finished yet. So she will continue working on that next school year. The next thing is that we are done with our Sunlight history readings from the main spine books, so the Visual Encyclopedia, the World Wars book, and the Landmark History of the American People. Now, one thing that I did change, I think it was back in April, I stopped reading the Landmark History book. There were only a few more chapters of it anyway, but I decided to have her switch to reading part 2 of the Our Star-Spangled Story part 2 book from Knotgrass History. It's something that we already had on our shelf, and we hadn't read through part 2 yet, and so I had her go ahead and read a lesson of that every day, and she finished that last week, so the first week of June. And so that went really well, but we are now basically done with history, except for we have 2 missionary stories left from Sunlight. I'll explain about Sunlight though in a minute. The other things that we have kind of wrapped up for this school year are hymn study, picture study, and composer study. We use Happy Hymnody. We use their free printables from their website. I can leave links to everything that I'm talking about down below for you. But so we did the May hymn, and if they have June and July hymns come out, we will probably go ahead and use those. I haven't seen anything yet, but otherwise we'll just pick back up with that in August. For picture study this year, we did a really good job of doing picture study the first term with Tintoretto. I had physical art prints for that, and that went really well. But this last, in May and June, I just kind of stopped basically. I did one which was this one back here. This is a picture from Enjoying Art Together from My Father's World. And this is just a picture pack that I picked up for free at our library, actually. They had like um, a group of moms that were doing like some curriculum exchange stuff. And so I got that like a year or so ago and pulled out a few of the cards. So we might do it a little bit over the summer, but so far for May and June, we've just done that one picture right there and it's just staying there. But we're enjoying it. As far as composer study goes, we were supposed to be studying the composer Chopin, and we listened to a few pieces. I have a music study with the masters from Simply Charlotte Mason that we listened to. And I did get a book from the library and we read a little bit of it, but we haven't even finished it. So I think we're just going to kind of be done with it and possibly pick that same composer back up in the fall instead of starting something new. I haven't decided yet about that, so stay tuned. So that's kind of everything that we finished: science, nature, typing, character, history, and enrichment studies. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we're going to be continuing on with. We're not completely done for the school year. So in May, my daughter finished Christian Light Education Math for book 5 out of 10. So she's done half the program now. We started it back in February, so that's why she's only partway done. So now my plan is to continue on. She started book 406 last week in the beginning of June. And so now we'll just keep going about 4 days a week on the weeks that we do school. We won't be doing school every single week of the summer. Like, for instance, we're taking this coming week off, and then we'll take off the week of July 4th, and then we'll take off 2 full weeks in the beginning of August before we start back up again. So we'll probably get through, I would say, book 406 and maybe all the way through 407. I'm not really sure. We might just kind of push through to be able to do that. For language arts, we are using Learning Language Arts Through Literature, the Purple Book. And instead of having her kind of stop partway through a unit, I had her stop at the end of May at lesson 15, I believe, because lesson 16 and 17 kind of go together. So I didn't really want her to move on to that since we weren't going to be doing 2 more weeks of that program. So now for our kind of summertime, she's going to be switching to doing the book studies from the Learning Language Arts Through Literature program. Those are not scheduled in as specific lessons or weeks in the program. You kind of just do them on your own. So that's why I decided to pause the Purple Book for the rest of the summer. And we will pick that back up again mid-August when we restart. So for this summer, she's going to be reading The Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White and Number the Stars by Lois Lowry. I've never even read The Trumpet of the Swan, so I was thinking I might need to pre-read that just so I know what it's about. I don't even know. And Number of the Stars I have read before, so I'm excited for her to read that book as well. It'll go along with what we're studying in Sunlight this year anyway. So I have the reading plans for her all ready to go for this summer, and she will just work on those probably about 4 days per week on the weeks that we do school. So those will take her about 3 weeks a piece to work on. So that's math and language arts. The last thing is that we are still working through the last few weeks of our Sunlight History Bible Literature program. So that is a 36-week course, and we have been working slowly through it this school year, and we still have about 5 weeks. We're on week 32 right now, and so that would be 32, 33, 5 weeks. And we will be kind of taking off the read alouds for those weeks. I think that means that we aren't reading 2 of the read alouds. My daughter has already decided that she wants to read one of them on her own, which is great. The only thing that I will be continuing to read are the missionary stories. The last 2, we have like 1 or 2 more chapters of In Search of the Source. And then we have another missionary story, Lights in a Dark Place. And so I'll finish up with that. But other than that, that's kind of all we're really doing. We're finishing up the Bible study as well, the Starting Strong Bible study, and then also Case for Create, no, Case, the Case for Faith is the third book in the little series. And so we'll be working on those, but that will probably only take us through June, and then we'll probably switch to Faithopedia from Not Consumed for July for our Bible time in the mornings. And also we will be working on what my little kids are doing. So just a quick little note about my little kids. So they are 4 and almost 2, and I in the spring started before 5 in a row with mostly my 4-year-old, but my 2-year-old always wants to be there too. We found out that she is very adamantly wanting to do school with brother. So we all get together to do that. So besides before 5 in a row, I'd also been doing a little bit of math with Preschool Math at Home. I use that program very loosely. We're just practicing. He can do 1 through 5 now, and so now we're kind of moving on to 1 through 10. And so we're doing a calendar time in the morning, singing the months of the year song, the days of the week, and then counting how many days up to today, so that he just gets that kind of daily counting practice. We don't do it every single day, but usually they ask if I don't initiate it, and so then we do it then. But I did start something new last week, and I put a post about it with a picture of some little cards, and I have decided to add the Gentle and Classical Press Preschool second edition. And I'm actually an affiliate with their company, so I will leave a link to their shop, and you can check it out if you want to. But I've decided to print out all of the memory statement cards except for 1 or 2. I can't even remember what all they are, but there's a scripture memorization card, one for manners and hygiene, a nursery rhyme, a wonder tale and poetry, math, and there's one more, I feel like. Catechism and what's the other thing? Catechism and manners? No, manners. I forget. Anyway, we're doing that, and we've been doing it for about a week, but I kind of thought about how our year's going to go. And I think if I stretch out one of their lessons over 2 weeks instead of just one, that'll give us a lot of flexibility in being able to get through everything. I did get, of course, the extra books because I like a lot of books, and I will do a full video about everything that I am doing for that. But we are kind of trying to get into a really good morning routine now that it's June, to kind of help us ease into more preschool in our house, because until the last couple of months, my son really wasn't that interested. But then once we started before 5 in a row, he has definitely gotten more interested in that, which I'm really glad about. But that means that I need to kind of shift my my schedule or routine for the mornings. So we're just trying to figure that out right now, and I will let you know more about that as we go. But if you have any questions or comments about anything that I shared about today, don't forget to put them down in the comment box. I love to chat with you guys about things that we're using or things that we are liking or not liking. And I always love to hear your opinions on things as well. So don't forget to do that. If you're still here after this really long video, go ahead and leave me some sort of a summer emoji down below, a sun or sunglasses, or I don't know, something fun, just to let me know that you're still here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today at our homeschool table. Don't forget to click that subscribe button before you leave if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up. And we'll see you next time.